Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles. This is episode number 60, and with me today, as always, in this Legend of Zelda D&D campaign that I am running as Articulate T, the Game Master, with me I have Renji Vox, being played by the Netherlad.
Good evening, as always.
I have Hikan Sio, being played by Alvrance.
Hello.
I have Rubberpipe, playing Zaidenshari.
Howdy there.
And I have Max, being played by Keistrith.
Hello.
So, friends, what happened last time?
Last time, Hikan got another workout in his cardio day as he ran throughout Zora's domain seeking help from holy peoples. After finding the temple to Lord Jabu Jabu, which he was given directions to, he and Sister A, because I couldn't actually write down her name, jumped off of the platforms about 70 feet into the pool to go down into the lagoon to swim over to the Snoozing River Inn. Before Hikan and the sister got there, the party was met by the doctor, who started tending wounds and doing administration, better triage than the party could manage, being trained in such things. And the sister and Renji came up with the semblance of a plan, or rather the sister did, and explained the plan to Renji, which we agreed to, and then everyone went to bed. Hikan staying just outside of Artismal's new room and the Temple of Lord Jabu Jabu for the night. Everyone else staying in the Snoozing River Inn. Renji had a visit from the Harvester, where the Harvester expressed some disappointment that we didn't go dragon hunting, and was a bit in a sharing mood as he shared the origin of the Twilight with Renji. Renji giving a bit of sass back.
A bit.
Had a bit of a moment of showing some changes in the struggles of his character, and then Mara went to go sit and take a look at the sunrise with Max and Zaiden for a little bit, since she tried to sneak out and we're too perceptive to let such things happen. Then we woke up, had a meeting with a diplomat of the Zoras, and through the questioning, Hikan was asked why he was damp, and Hikan responded by making plans with Max to climb up to the top of the waterfall and jump into the lagoon again. And then we heard a large explosion and rushed to the scene, where there was a red-robed figure running away from some guards. Hikan, with his quick reflexes, went and grappled the creature. Between manacles, magic, and other means, we subdued him with little damage to him and no damage to us, if I recall correctly. And we had some assistance from Elizalfos in plate mail, riding a horse, who introduced himself after everything was settled, with his banner flowing down from the wind that was hiding it from us. And it was the symbol that we had encountered with Minister Simeon, and that it showed us the visions when we focused on it in the Firevine Forest, as this Lizalfos introduced himself as the Arbiter.
Indeed. And so it is that we return to the encounter between the now tense standoff between the Arbiter and the rest of you, it seems. He, as mentioned before, the Arbiter himself is a much like most Lizalfos, is a tall creature, dressed head to toe in this kind of darkened steel plate mail, and in his hand, or gripped in one hand, appears to be what seems to be like a battle standard, which, as you mentioned before, upon a canvas of black and purple, it seems to be the symbol of what you've come to know as the Sovereign Hand, which is or the symbol itself is a hand with an eye in the palm. They've all your encounters with them have not been the best, to put it very lightly. He had just disembarked from his horse and cast a spell on the doppelganger of Max that is currently being surrounded and subdued by a collection of Zora guards.
Hikan has a white-knuckled grip on the Javelin of Lightning, but there's a lot of people around here, so he doesn't want to start anything.
Renji hadn't looked in that direction yet, but I suspect that if he does, he will notice the banner.
Are we going back onto the map for it, or?
Depends on if you intend to fight this guy.
Max is just trying to approach his twin.
Max's twin at this point in time is kind of being kept to the ground with the combined might of like 6 guards who have all they've basically bound his hands, they've gagged him because they now know he's a spellcaster, so they've also blindfolded him just in case. Yeah.
I was gonna say I need to talk to him.
One of the guards kind of looks over and says, well, we'll have to take care of that when we can make sure he's not going to do anything that is going to harm anyone, if possible. We might need to just bring him back to the guard station. We have a cell there that will at least keep him away from a populous area. You are more than welcome to come with.
So, fine.
I was very close by Double Max. Looking over at the Arbiter, excuse me, I carefully walk over towards the Arbiter, and then I, like glancing lightly at the banner, ask, I'm unfamiliar with your banner. Whoa. What country do you hail from?
This banner is of no country.
Oh?
I am a leader within an organization that is simply known as the Sovereign Hand.
What do they stand for, if I may ask?
Think of it as a religious organization. We stand for the benefits and explorations of realms beyond death. I am here chiefly as a coincidence, I suppose. I noticed that there was an individual over there that was causing a bit of a ruckus, and I thought I would lend my hand to subduing him, but I see that my talents are not truly needed.
No, they are not really necessary.
Could I roll an insight on coincidence?
Sure.
Specifically? I mean, we've killed some of the people of this, so...
Yeah.
21.
21. Oddly enough, you kind of get the feeling that this guy's being genuine. Like, granted, he's still a big, intimidating lizard guy with a necromantic cult banner in one hand in black plate mail. So he's already shady as fuck. But, like, him stating that he was here for the sake of, like, he found himself in this instance as merely a coincidence, that seems genuine. Like, it seems like there was an aspect of him where he just happened to be in the area and wanted to lend a hand.
May I ask, do you travel often to Zora's domain?
Not often, no. I was merely passing through. I have an acquaintance elsewhere that they live nearby, but at this point in time, I feel that it was important that I do a bit of traveling, run a few more errands of my own, pick up a few supplies.
I look over at Snowhead Mountain and glance back to see if he notices.
He's just staring right at you.
All right. I'm just wondering how far I can push this before having to roll a deception check.
Keep pushing.
Well, you've mainly been asking him questions for the most part.
I did tell a falsehood at the very start.
Oh yeah.
And in deception, I also mean like keeping my face straight and not turning into a scowl and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Because I'm not just having friendly small talk with him for shits and giggles. I don't want to take up more of your time, good sir. But this sovereign hand, this is the first time I've heard of such a religious organization. Where do you hail from? Where would I go to know more about this?
Interesting question.
Excuse me, sir, can I join your cult?
Please, I'm really good at culting.
Please, sir, can I have some lore?
I know all the Photogons. But anyway, he says, there are missionaries here and there that will be more than willing to provide you with that information. Unfortunately, if my assistance is no longer needed here, I am rather pushed for time. As he's saying that, he has already began to turn around to get back onto his horse. And he says, there are many of us in many different areas who would be more than willing to lend you that information. And were I to have more time, if we were to meet again, I would be more than happy to provide you with those answers. He says, hopping back onto the horse.
DM.
Yes.
A question.
Yes.
Would someone... I may have asked this before, and I've forgotten the answer. Does the target of Hexblade's curse feel that that's been cast on them?
Have a look and see. So, the full thing says, starting at first level, you gain the ability to place a baleful curse on someone. As a bonus action, choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. The target is cursed for 1 minute. The curse ends early if the target dies, you die, or you're incapacitated. Until the curse ends, you gain the following benefits. You gain a bonus to damage, you get an expanded crit, and if the cursed target dies, you regain hit points equal to your wallet level. You can't use this feature again until you finish a long or a short rest.
Doesn't say they get aware.
They don't say they get aware, no.
It doesn't have verbal or somatic components.
Nope.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just gonna have a look and see what he's outfitted with, this Arbiter fellow. Alright. Okay, I'd say that you could probably cast it maybe without him noticing.
Okay. Then I want to do that, and I want to kind of, like, as he's leaving, I want to know, try and focus and see which direction he's going to in the next minute.
Okay.
As he's mounting up, Hikan will call out in Gerudo, asking if he understands him.
He looks over to you, and he responds in Gerudo that he does understand you.
So, given that, I think the only... No, I said that I had conversations with Tyrina a couple of times. But I am clearly speaking a language that my party doesn't understand. I will ask him plainly, do you make a habit of hiring ghost people or taking heads of nobles?
Like, the horse kind of, like, it goes forward a bit, and then he pulls back on the reins, and the horse stops. Like, he's moved about 20 feet now. And he says in Gerudo, I'm not sure I understand. Are you accusing me of something?
No, the sovereign hand. I ran into people with that banner, or symbols of it, who were on a bridge, and they were skeletal figures, and we saw the symbol infused with necromantic energies at the crime scene of a decapitated noble.
I see. That is a shame.
Yes,
Did you know this man? Or woman?
I did.
Then I am sorry for your loss. I do not intend, at least in my part and understandings of our rights, to cause pain to anybody. Our teachings are that there is something beyond the realm of death. Answers can be found. Solace can be found. The end need not be the definitive end. If these individuals, these students of these teachings have corrupted it somewhat for their own ends, or simply misinterpreted it, but still caused pain, then I can only do my best to apologize. And were that the case, if you have found the culprits of this particular attack, then I do hope that you deal with them as appropriate. Wayward children or not, the law is the law.
What's he currently speaking in?
Gerudo.
Oh, okay.
I can't incite someone on a language I don't understand. Or can I?
Well, you could look at him and see if he looks edgy whilst he's talking with.
Read his body language. It's like, I can't understand what he's saying, but I think it's bullshit.
Exactly.
Oh no, it's bullshit.
Can you attempt to see if he's talking bullshit?
Hikan can, and I'd say if Hikan translates it later, Renji might be able to at disadvantage. Like, all of you could probably do it at disadvantage later if Hikan translates.
Yeah. That's a 9.
That is a 9. You can't be sure. It might be the plate mail, it might just be his general demeanor, but he seems implacable.
It might be the fact that he's a big, huge lizard man.
Yeah.
Hikan will sit there for a moment, taking a look at him, and then he will relax from his still tense stance a little bit. His expression does not change.
Okay.
But he's not going to get in the way of the Arbiter for now.
Okay. And with that, he bows his head and and kind of taps the horse on the side to put it into a trot, and he heads away from the scene. Your Hexblade's curse, Renji, tells you that he is going west.
I was actually thinking that because it's only a minute,
Hmm.
it would have probably been gone off during this. But yeah, then west.
Yeah.
Fair. Do we see him leave Zora's domain or just part of the city?
You see him. I think you probably see the western exit of Zora's domain along the river. He seems to go out that way, but then it kind of, because there's curving paths and like ravines and stuff in the way of that, you lose sight of him pretty quickly.
Fair enough. I turn to my fellow party members, and my once magnanimous demeanor is very much soured. I'm probably back to my grumpy self, whereas I pretend to be nice and pleasant and friendly to others.
In the process, the guards all collectively pick Doppelmax up. A couple of them, two of them have got his legs, and the others have kind of got him by the arms and shoulder. And the one you were speaking to, Max, nods to you, and then kind of the lot of them head towards a nearby guard station.
Put him in maximum security.
I'm following them.
Okay.
I'm probably as well. I don't want to.
Max doesn't
people
want to
to be
lose
able
sight of the other him in case he disappears like the other one.
Very fair.
Okay.
On the way over, Hikan will translate to the best of his memory the conversation in Shika to Zaiden and Renji, and he will do so to Max if Max is willing to pay attention.
I'm not listening.
Okay.
Okay, so
that is fair.
insight with disadvantage if you would like it.
I got a
Alright.
22.
20, damn it.
Wow.
No, it's fine. It's like,
Oh,
aha, I've
wow.
got you with disadvantage. Ah. Would you like a nat 20 or a nat 20?
11.
Okay. So, Reggie, much like Hikan, you cannot be sure. There's just an aspect about it where it's you couldn't really read his body language, and now with having gotten what he was saying after the fact, it's difficult to kind of get onto it. Zaiden, interestingly enough, same general story actually, but slightly different, because you kind of get a sort of idea, a series of ideas going through your head. Up until this guy, supposedly, everyone that you've encountered that have been everyone and everything that you've encountered with this cult in particular seems to have been very detrimental, outwardly detrimental to the whole experience of living. What happened at Simeon's graveyard was a genuine terrorist attack by all accounts, and you already got kind of a confessional sort of thing from the one guy who lived out of the group that you encountered along that river. This guy just seems weirdly polite and helpful for what he does, but it just seems like everything is. He doesn't seem like a knight or a paladin or anything like that. Everything seems like a process. Everything just seems like it's a standard flowing kind of sort of do X to get Y to get Z sort of thing. That, and while according to Hikan, he said that he had no intentions on hurting people, depends on what he means by hurting people. Does that necessarily mean that he's going to, is he literally just going to do no harm to anyone? Or would he consider doing the necromantic friggin' culty thing as being a mercy or a service? It's weird. There are too many factors in play that you get as an impression that you get from this guy that you just cannot reconcile. And it's something that you can't find yourself being comfortable with around him.
Okay. Zidon would then respond with, after his pondering. I get the impression he's the type who thinks he's doing good, no matter what his end result, or perhaps he thinks the end result is worth the actions he takes. I don't think he's, in a direct sense, doing no harm. Perhaps it's in his perspective he's doing the lesser harm.
Sounds like some ethical juggling.
Hikan sighs, kind of mad. He's kind of just punches his thighs like I shouldn't have let him go then, but he doesn't say that. It's just an expression of frustration.
Okay. Eventually, all of you find yourselves to this small guard station that's set into the side of this like large cliff face, carved out of the rock itself. You head in and see like a small platoon of guards who are just kind of awaiting to be deployed in their own little guard posts, and they all kind of watch in awe as 6 of their comrades just come in with this struggling young man who's like basically just been hogtied and like in every possible way to keep him from going anywhere, and he just keeps on struggling to try and get out. Eventually they go through a series of corridors before finding a fairly sizable cell with a reinforced what appears to be oak wooden door, which they just kind of they lay him down into it and like move back out, the last one kind of like closing the door and putting a nice big meaty heavy padlock on it, just to kind of keep him in. But they look through that little grate in the door to see inside, and this other Max just continues to struggle as best he possibly can. And the guard turns to the rest of you and says, well, I observe that you are all, or some of you maybe, are magic users. I do not know if you have anything that can calm a person down, but until they are in a disposition enough to talk, there's not much else we can do.
You're not going to untie him.
He is a magic user, I'm afraid, and a fiery one at that, and most of our doors are made of, well, metal, but also wood. It would be a danger.
Let me talk to him.
Are you sure?
Yes. If he tries to cast something, I can undo it.
I grab my rapier and stand behind Max.
Okay.
Maybe I can find out why he blew something up for you.
Okay. And he moves over to the door, undoes the padlock, opens it, and lets you in.
Right. I'll go in and ungag him.
Okay. Is anybody else going in with Max?
Well, I am.
I will go as well. I assume we're shutting the door behind us then.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Shut the door, close the grate.
Hikan will stay outside in case he does something like dimension door or teleporting, because then Hikan's got the biggest chance of catching him, and
Yep.
it starts useful.
Yeah. The door closes. And you are left alone in the room with this struggling other Max.
When I ungag him, what does he say?
It is a stream of profanities in Draconic. More or less amounting to, "Let me go! Let me go! Ah!
They're not gonna let you go until you calm down.
Ah!"
In Draconic.
There's like as he begins to shout and snarl, you can see like the smoke and the sparking embers kind of begin to emit from his mouth. He basically snarls back and says, "Who are you? Who are you? Where? Nah, let me go! I'll kill you!"
My name is Max, and I believe we have something in common.
I'm holding out my rapier in case I need to strike.
Okay. The other Max kind of because he's still blindfolded at this point, he can't really see anything. If
he calms down a little bit, I will take off the blindfold.
Okay. Yeah. Make
so he
a
can see who he's dealing with.
make a persuasion check.
All right. It's a 23.
Nice. Like there's still a tangible amount of struggling going on, but he eventually calms down a little bit, like the embers that kind of just spitting from his mouth just kind of slow a little bit. Like looking down at this guy, he has an outfit not too dissimilar to yours, except in a red coloration as opposed to a blue one. And while he doesn't really have any kind of equipment on him, he's even got no shoes. He's just walking around in bare feet. There is an aspect about him where, like, the wear on his clothes appears to be something like it. There's definitely burn marks. And like there are telltale signs where you can see like little showings of scale along his upper arms and across his chest, where you can see parts of his bare chest. Everything else, besides like the red color palette swap, everything seems almost identical, though maybe a bit more scaly.
Yeah. So yeah, if he does calm down, I will remove the blindfold.
You remove the blindfold, and like he blinks, like there's like a fiery red to his eyes, and he's like his attention darts between all three of you, and then it settles on you, Max, and he like there's a weird look of like kind of somewhat realization, which then slowly turns into a scowl, and he says, why do you have my face? Why do you have my face?
Good question. I was about to ask it myself.
I see him like growing more intense.
Raise a hand in your direction, like no.
Care to switch to common if that's possible?
For now, Max will ignore Renji because
I
the conversation
respected the dragon, not this git.
now Max is going to glare at you and say,
He is.
in common, I'm busy. You just fish back to Draconic and ask this guy, so, wouldn't happen to have grown up in a tower, would you?
Yes. I don't remember much. I remember confined space and darkened.
The wizard
Him.
Torquin.
That's his name. I remember he had other things to attend to one day, and he exploded a bunch of bottles on his table. It let me escape.
Good. Break his shit. You're not the only one I've seen that looks like both of us. There's another one that white hair, made a wall of ice.
Why?
I don't know. Maxwell raise his sleeve to show his own scales and say, I think we have more in common than our face.
What is... He kind of like looks down at himself as best he can.
Mm.
He's just... Why? What's happening to us?
I don't know. I know it's to do with dragons. I spoke to the one on Snowhead.
Dragons.
Would I know the word dragons?
Yes.
In Draconic?
Yes, you would. Matt's probably said it before.
Fair enough. I withdraw my rapier and then unsummon it. As I look at these two, well, I know they're triplets at least.
And then I will switch to common and say, why did you blow up the place in town? What was there?
Just trying to get food. Someone yelled at me. They wouldn't stop yelling. I panicked and...
Your magic lashed out.
Yeah. I had to get away.
Can we hear through the door, like the guards and myself, out of curiosity?
I'd say your perception is certainly high enough. I don't know if the guards can. Like, it depends on how. Like, he's speaking really quietly at this point. Not so much out of trying to keep it secret. He's just. There's a lot has been dropped on this guy.
Hello.
Maybe you could hear it if, like, your ear against the grate.
But yeah, like
to,
Hikan, you can hear it perfectly fine.
I'm going to tell the guards that, hey, since my friends are in there, do you guys have some food or something that I could get? I kind of skipped breakfast.
They kind of look to each other and says, yes, I think we have some sweet rolls somewhere. I'll be back in a second. And the guard turns and heads off to another room.
If he can hear us inside, I assume he can hear him outside, so Zidon will hold off on Odd for good berries.
Okay. The guard comes back eventually with a couple of sweet rolls. they look very cheerful. Like they look like they've just been made in the shape of one of them's been made in the shape of a fish, another one's been made in the shape of a nautilus shell. They look rather nice.
Excellent. I will go ahead. If he's brought more than one for me, I will go ahead and eat one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I will also remind everyone that if you haven't eaten them, you guys do have some cookies from me.
Thanks. I snap my cookie in half. I know the guy is still bound, but I hold up the other half of the cookie to his lips and then start eating the other half.
He kind of like he pulls his head back briefly, and then just like he doesn't snap it out of your fingers, but he just kind of just latches teeth onto it and begins to crunch.
It's not actual, like, it'll sustain you for a bit, but you probably need some more food. Do you travel by yourself, or do you have companions?
I travel alone.
Bad idea. You really need some friends.
So hard to just make friends.
Yeah, sometimes people need to be forced to do so. I glance at Max, I glance at Zayden.
Hikan glances at Renji, but you can't see it.
Fair. I mean guilty.
I guess Sidon would be at that stage of old enough that he's like, you seem like you need someone around you. Yeah, I'm not leaving now.
You need
I don't
friends.
care if you're complaining. You can't be alone. Look at you.
Zayden is Goofy in the Goofy movie.
Yeah, that seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Well, given that the only options at the moment seem to be mostly snacks and cakes, Sidon will offer a good berry and explain it is a magical source of full sustenance.
Make a persuasion roll for me.
Okay, sure. Oh no, does he hate magic? Possibly.
Well,
Go, +1 persuasion.
His chief exposure to magic has been his very explodey self and this Wizrobe, who is a complete arse. So it's
who was doing all kinds of crazy magical experiments on him.
Yeah.
To be fair, most Wizrobes we've met are, well, arses.
I don't
And
know.
suddenly being unable to move.
I think Teristro was a fairly well-behaved toucan man.
Yeah.
It's okay, this one's our
2 out
asshole
of
now.
3.
Yeah, so
13.
13, and he rolled a 9 on his insight, so he'll kind of like look at you really kind of accusatory and quizzically because you mentioned magic, but he will eventually relent and take a bite of the good berry before he swallows it, and just kind of there is a sort of body language and exhalation of air. He just kind of like you see him like satisfaction has just warped over him, which is a new sensation probably for him.
Does he seem malnourished?
He doesn't like he does seem a bit skinny. Like he definitely looks like he could do with more food in his life.
He's a bit thinner than Max.
Yeah.
Although we don't know how recently he broke out, so...
Yeah. And I was about to ask then, how long have you been out?
3 months? I think. I don't know. It's been.
So we did survive. I escaped just after the tower was attacked by people.
Oh,
I got out in the confusion.
how long ago was that?
Almost 2 years now.
Make an insight check.
19?
He kind of like looks to the floor a little bit as he kind of does a bit of mental arithmetic and puts the pieces together. And you kind of believe that you might be going through the existential crisis of thinking that he's not the real one.
Max decides to not do the thing where he pulls out that one charm that reminds him of his whatever life he had before and says, "Is do you recognize this?" Yeah, I'm gonna not do that.
I'm getting vibe of the island, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You all have such lovely memories of a life before.
Yeah. Like, for all Max knows, the memories he has might have been planted there. I don't know.
Yeah, he's gone very quiet. Do you want to do?
Max is kind of torn because he really doesn't want to leave him in a cell because he's going to be going from a prison to a prison.
Yeah.
But also he did a crime.
If I take a look through the grate, could I roll an insight check to kind of get a read on Max's mood?
Sure.
Okay. Natural one. Nope. Never mind.
It hasn't been your day today, my friend.
Could he have advantage from knowing me quite well by now?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Max isn't, like, subtle.
I mean, you're having a bad day. Is luckily a few steps removed from you've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?
Yeah.
Hikan will strike up conversation with one of the guards as he's slowly eating his sweet roll, so halfway through like a mouthful of food. What's gonna happen to him? Quiet enough so that way they can't necessarily hear, except for the very perceptive, except for probably Renji and Zayden.
+8 perception.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of... The guy kind of looks to the door, and there's a bit of a shrug, and he says, as far as I was aware, there is only property damage from what I can see. We shall have to go back and properly assess the scene, but from what we understood, there was no deaths. It was just a collection of crates and stock that needed to be replaced, and essentially I think that it will be, how you say, it shall be prison time, mostly, depending on how much of a, how good of a temperament this individual has.
I'm not from here, and I'm not good with such things, but if somebody replaced those things or gave the person the means for it, and we helped him get out of here for the moment, what would that do? Like, would he be able to go home?
There's like an eyebrow is raised, and the guy says, well, reparations is one thing, but I am. It is very rare to for that to happen. I think the if that was the case, judging by this one's temperament, I would say that they might not be allowed back in Zora's domain anymore. At least for the time being. Because it does not, especially if it was an outside source, it does not exactly matter if the things were replaced. He still performed a dangerous act and put the lives of others in danger. It's a matter of the safety of the people, not necessarily recompense for the crime.
That's fair, at least for the moment.
So, slightly out of character.
Hmm.
What is the sort of prevalence of magic in the world? Would they actually have a at least vague policy on what to do about somebody whose magic suddenly emerges? Like, sorcerers would be the most obvious example of someone whose magic sort of emerges and they go out of control for a bit.
Yeah, people know that magic is a thing, but it's not so common as to like have academies for it or special magical sort of defenses against things. Like pretty much the magical people that you encounter are probably the sum total of they make up a part of the sum total of the magical people within the world at this point. Most of the magicians are probably going to be wizrobes, but wizrobes are few and far between, and they are everywhere. They're all over the place, rather. So it's hard to try and find like a wizrobe village or something along those lines. And while Hyrule Castle like nobility had a someone who was in charge of governing like magical law and everything, it was more down to we just needed like a wizard on staff pay in order to like just as an advisor and let us know what's going on, but otherwise it's mostly faith stuff and mainly just a case of like whatever defenses that they might have against mages, it has to be practical for now because not everywhere has like the designated court mage. Like the tactic of what these guards did, which was blindfold him, gag him, bind his hands, takes care of like 3 core pillars of magic use, which is being able to see a target, being able to speak to cast a spell, being able to move your hands to cast a spell. Like, if he had, like, material components in his back pocket, that would be a problem. But they just remove said material components. It's, like, very practical what they did. Instead of just having one member of the regiment who was like, aha, counterspell. But, yeah.
So what you're also saying is nobody can handle the bear druid.
Nobody can really handle the bear druid unless they come up with it's mostly a case of either they are independent spellcasters of their own, or they've got a lot of money and went to Uriel once, or they
or they have a bear trap.
Or they have a bear trap. Yeah.
It's okay. I'm level 8 now. I can turn into a fly.
Okay, but yeah, I will reach out with my new Helm of Telepathy towards each of them in turn.
You have to go see someone to do that.
Can I see them through the grates? Like, is there like a grated window or something?
Yeah, the grated window, like you just kind of on the sorry, not my microphone. You kind of pull the shutter because the actual access to the shutter is on the outside. So you can just and then stare in.
I will like reach for it and then look at them as, you know, is this okay?
This is like having seen that other maxes are pyrokinetic, they take a couple step back. and then just kind of let you go on with it.
Okay, so I will open it, and aloud I will say, "Is everything okay?" And I will reach with them and tell them generally what the guards have told me. That we might be able to get him out of the jail, but we'd have to get him out of Zora's domain right afterwards.
It's okay.
Okay.
I will glance
Okay.
over and it's like, everything's good here. And then as you give me this information, I nod. I can reply, correct?
Yeah, it's a helm of telepathy. It's a one-way, it's a two-way connection between us at the moment.
I tell you,
Technically, he's reading your thoughts, so if you had any other thoughts, he'd see them as well.
I will mentally communicate that this Maxwell has basically given a similar history to events as Max has encountered. As far as we can tell, he doesn't really have any truly nefarious plans, just survival.
Yeah.
The most nefarious plan of all.
Yes.
How dare he want to live?
Hikan will smile and nod, and he'll try to sleight of hand the extra sweet roll to get it in there.
Go for it.
Nope.
Damn.
I just yeeted at him.
Oh no.
Well, Max is in front of him, so technically I try to slide it and then I accidentally toss it at the back of Max's head.
Clunk.
Can I
That's
catch
just-
it?
I'd say I just slowly turn and look at him like, what the fuck?
Sorry.
Thought you'd be hungry. Needed to deliver it fast.
I mean, I don't mean to try and catch it before it hits Max,
Okay.
but more to avoid it, like, hitting the ground.
Make a dex save for me then.
Oh, a dex save.
Yeah.
Will do.
Another one?
An 8. So that's a 5.
There's a 5. So you kind of you reach out to try and grab it as it just bounced off the back of Max's head, and you nudge it forward with the tips of your fingers, and it just kind of tumbles onto the floor.
Yeah. I grab it. 5-second rule. Prestidigitation.
It cleans things.
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very clean cake now.
Clean.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then I will close the shutter and I will go. So, yeah. If we can get if we know how much we need to do, I think that we could probably do something and get all of this stuff settled. And Hikan will smile, the most charming Hikan smile he can.
I'm just still amused thinking the guards just watched you yeet a sweet roll at your friend.
Pretty much, yeah.
They kind of looking quizzically towards each other, and one of them says, "Well, we shall assess the value of the broken goods, and we shall get back to you as soon as possible."
Okay.
And he turns to leave, and then the other one goes, okay, I'll stay here then.
Damn it.
You weren't fast enough. You get to stay with the pyromaniac.
Yeah. But yeah, that process will probably take a couple of hours. Yeah. Anything else you guys wanted to do in this instance?
Somebody
To help keep him calm, Master's just gonna for a while just talk with him about stuff he's done since he left, and things he's experienced, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You've got so many books.
I will also rip the sweet roll into fourths, and give a piece to Max, to Sidon, and to Maxwell.
I'll look that up. I don't know if I need to maintain eye contact or not to have the telepathic thing going on.
I think you have to maintain it now.
Because I would have Max, since Max would be kind of the one there to be the last person there. So as Max is telling him stories, like, ooh, tell him about the time you yeeted the crate.
No,
Yeah.
not yet.
See, duration, you can read the thoughts. When you cast a spell as an action each your turn, you focus mind on all creatures you can see within 30 feet of you. So I think you have to stay within 30 feet. And technically you'd have to upkeep it every minute.
Yeah. Every so often there's a shh.
Just open
That
there.
is ominous.
Every minute.
Eventually, after like the third time, I like when I can't hear thoughts anymore, I just kind of just leave it cracked open.
Yeah.
Simon's going to take a seat on the floor and eat his sweet roll.
Okay. Okay, so you all kind of keep the other Max company. And it's all right. You've shown him kindness. You've shown him you showed him compassion. He's not likely to blow up in your face anytime soon, but he's not like immediately super chummy with all of you. He still seems very guarded. Probably because this is the most social contact he's really had since leaving the tower.
That's like, I remember this.
Look how
There's
far you've
people.
come.
They're talking.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
At one point, he does ask, "Your magic, what does it feel like?"
Hard to control. Dangerous. Feels like wants to be used all the time, but
It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what that's like. When I spoke with the dragon, he said that they are magic in a way. Maybe that has something to do with it. He also said that they tend to have a certain thing that they focus on, I suppose. His thing, I guess, was that he wanted to be alone. But there was another one that was all about destruction, but other ones were about helping people. I think I know which one I want to be, but just have to keep the storm under control.
right. I see. And it's something that he begins to think about, but kind of sits and dwells on that.
Max is also dwelling.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of dwelling.
After about an hour and a half, the guard who left to do the damage assessment came back, and he explains quite specifically that due to the spread of the fire and the size of the explosion, a lot of things were broken and or destroyed, and they estimated a total of around about 500 gold pieces worth of property damage.
Does he say that in the no shot of us?
Yeah.
Before anyone has any chance to, I was like, okay, so where do we go take care of that?
This is so discernible. It's like, Huh?
We can't actually outpace Hikan because he's outside and we're not.
Yeah.
Probably. Also, insert Nathan Fillion jive here with the finger and then.
If you're kind of still like mentally connected to Max, Max would say, "I can fix things."
We all work together for money stuff. It's fine.
Right, but I can fix
Mending.
things.
Oh, but that takes a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
Hmm?
just option.
Yeah, we keep finding money. It'll be okay. Make Flame go pay for. No, I'm kidding. That one's out of character. Flameco does not have that much money.
Actually, doesn't he? I think he does because we gave him all that.
You gave him 50 platinum for the purpose of starting up a shop to keep him out of trouble.
So technically, he currently has it.
Yeah.
But also, he needs to start up the shop so he stays out of trouble.
Yeah.
Yes.
The entire point.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. This way he's not in there too long, cause yeah, we'll get this work the quicker way, and we'll worry about the rest of that stuff later. Hikan sends an image of a smile, like his comforting smile.
Suddenly, I'm just imagining Helm telepathy conversations basically being iPhone text messages.
Just at some point one just says scene.
Red.
Yeah.
That's 3:45.
Sidon just like sees these messages come from Hikan. He's like, how is he doing that?
What's an iPhone?
What is this ruffle? But
LMAO?
is that how
I
the
know
Zorans
something
laugh?
Le Mao.
Limao. Anyway,
While it's taking place and Hikon's trying not to split his eyesight in two to keep an eye on Max since he's having a conversation with Max and the guard, he does ask, so are we going to take care of that?
Let us go to the people there. And just like, this guy's like, that was like a supremely quick response. Like, how does that, like, literally, how does anybody who is not the king have 500 gold worth of throwaway money? It's like,
Yeah, I have that. I think we possibly all have that at this moment.
yeah.
How much do I have?
It's not throwaway money per se, but it's most definitely in character for Hikon to go, oh, money can fix problems. Here we go.
Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Yeah.
Like
but yeah.
getting a new friend out of jail.
He leads you onwards out towards the. Basically, he leads you on a little bit of an adventure, talking to people who are, like, kind of bereft at the sudden loss of most of the marketplace via massive fireball. But ultimately speaking, like, now that time has passed, more assessments have been made. There have been a couple of injuries, but no one has died, which is miraculous considering the apparent size and volume of the explosion. Yeah, they are in less of a good mood, even when you present them with the adequate amount of funds in order to replace all their broken stuff. Because, you know, they weren't expecting an explodey Hylian today.
Also, I would like to discuss maybe the sale of a weapon with the guards here.
Oh?
I have a +1 flail.
Ah.
Magical weapon.
It's magical.
Wait, is this the one we got from the top of the castle?
Yes.
This would be Grastel's flail.
A flastal. That's terrible.
Yeah.
So you want to? Do you want to sell it directly to the guards, or do you want to find
Like,
somebody who would pick it up?
Probably ask the guards who to sell it to.
Yeah,
Maybe keep it until we get to Uriel, because he deals in magical stuff.
that's true.
Or just generally, if we're going back to Castle Town, get a better price for it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would like to get a price range, an offer, perhaps.
Okay. The Zoras kind of look to each other and it's like, well, you say that this is magic?
Indeed. It will cut through defenses a little bit quicker than weaponry of mundane make.
Well, it's not for. I'm not sure that we have a stand-in shop in the domain, but maybe he's here. And the other guy said, "Oh, well, you do have one option. Maybe I do not know if he is here today. But there is a Goron, a traveling Goron, calls himself Elijah. He will occasionally sell magical items, from what he claims, at the very least. He usually only has 5 things on him at a time. But maybe he would be interested in purchasing such a thing for future trade.
And sorry, I missed if he was in town or not.
We do not know. He travels. He doesn't have a set schedule. You would have to go hunting for him.
All right. I glance over at the others to see if we need to stick together for today, or if we have some time.
Might be better at this point if we don't all crowd Maxwell.
Yeah. I was going to say, if there's anything that was broken that was, important, bring it to him and he'll fix it, but otherwise, he'll stay here.
Zidon will go offer magical healing if it's needed.
Okay. Performing the good citizenry stuff. But yeah, you
I had a different thought as well, which is probably out of character, but would be possibly good for people. I could use conjure animals to summon a horde of cute puppies to happify people. Have you moved down? Look at the puppies, they're licking you.
I shall calm this crowd with assorted puppery.
It could be assorted puppery. It could also just be boatload of golden retriever puppies, or pit bull puppies, or corgi puppies, corgisters.
How many could you summon?
8.
So it's 8 different puppies.
I don't think that's quite inside in character.
Hmm.
He'd do it if someone suggested it, but...
Yeah. But yeah, it might take the rest of the day, but you guys tend to the situation at hand. And eventually, after some administration is done, a couple of people have sent in, a couple of important items which are presented to Max in order to be mended. And other Max kind of watches this as it goes on. But otherwise...
if I can I, show him how to fix things? Because he has the same sort of magic as I do.
He has the same sort of magic, yeah. But not the same cantrips.
Yeah. I'll try at least.
You can learn cantrips later. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you can show him how you do your thing. He's thankful for a more experienced teacher in a sense. But yeah, he just spend your day dealing with that. Eventually, Mara, not Flamgo, comes to try and find one of you, in order to you guys have been gone for the whole day. What happened?
Yeah. I cast summary on Mara.
Summarize events.
Yes.
Bored now, reading mind. Wait, what?
Now you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Makes sense that Renji's going around because it would be really awkward if she found Hikan, 467, 468. Oh, how about... Shoot.
1, 2.
Just the guards. Ah!
No. But yeah, Mara's just kind of as you explain the whole story to her, she's like, busy day, huh? Well, I'll go sort out some more stuff at the Snoozing River then, and let Flamgo know and stuff. By the way, what remind me of what the plan was with Artismal?
He was going to stay, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably bring him to a Temple of Din in Hyrule Castletown.
Oh, that was it.
Looks like our general plan is to gather lots of people.
We were going to leave him here, so the sisters and the clergy of Jabu Jabu tend and help heal him. And Hikan has a missive to give to the Temple of Din in Hyrule Castletown,
Right.
or Larson Graves, whichever he runs into first, to send at least a follower of Din to go check on Artismal.
Yeah. Okay. That seems fair. But yeah. You spend a lot of your time just making sure, doing the last bits of admin and triage to this situation, and eventually, after a while, a guard does, towards the evening, a guard does approach whoever is in the cell with other Max, and just kind of knocks on the door.
Yes.
We had a brief conversation in regard. Well, I say brief conversation. We had a discussion, regarding the individual. Yeah. The debts have been repaid, but as per the protocols that we have in place, they do need to be out of Zora's domain. Not immediately, it is late and dangerous things happen along the roads at night. So perhaps it might be best that first thing in the morning, you are to escort the young man out of Zora's domain. Does not matter which direction you take him, but it would be wise.
A banishment, then.
Indeed. At least for a substantial amount of time. Were he actually have taken the life of someone, then it would be forever. But for now, we are looking at perhaps 2-3 years.
Time enough for him to be taught how to use his magic better.
So that such things will not happen again.
Yes. Okay. Well, I shall leave you to your things, and we shall reconvene in the morning. No?
Yes.
And the guard turns around and leaves you guys to it. So what is the Now, my question is this. What is your plan with this one? What is your plan with other mechs?
Do we have a plan?
You seem to be picking up NPCs left, right, and center.
Yes.
Giving us NPCs that need picking up.
Which is not so much a plan, more as a habit.
Yeah.
If I may, since we have to go to Hyrule Castle anyway, we can at least take him to Hyrule Castle with us to see what happens. Flamgo, who made it here on his own, since he has the letter from Renji and the money for the shop, can go to Sarkosa from here. We do not have to keep Flamgo anymore.
Yeah.
Well, are we going back to cross at Drumnick, or are we just going to go straight that way?
Which way is downriver? Because we have a portable boat. I don't know if we can fit all the horses on there, but we have a portable boat.
I thought we established we couldn't fit the horses on there.
Frick.
So we'll just go along the riverside like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because that's, what, 60 miles, roughly? Where going back to Drumnick would be...
A lot more.
30...
80. Yeah, about 80 from Drumnick.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be... Yeah, so either way, it's going to be more than a day's worth of travel. With appropriate instruction, Flamgo could probably just head off now.
And send word when he's arrived.
Yeah. It is also, Max, it also occurs to you that the first time you met Flamgo was the first time you encountered another Wizrobe besides Torkin. So,
not introducing this guy to Flamgo.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
No.
That is a bad idea. But yes, with the appropriate instruction you give to Flamgo, he like packs up his things and like dusts himself off, and rubs his feathery hands together and says, "So, I believe this is where we depart, or at least I depart."
Yes. Now, again, the letter is for the mayor of Port Sarkosa.
Yes. Yes.
The money is, of course, for starting up your business in Sarkosa. Please do limit yourself to non-dangerous animals, or at least of which the danger is maybe a minor cut or scrape. Do not go for things like Lionels again.
He kind of like puts a hand on his chest and the other one up in like a I swear sort of position. He says, "I swear by my honor as a Wizrobe, as Flamgo the Flamboyant, that I will not harbor any animal that is larger than I, and in addition has no additional properties more dangerous than pointy teeth and claws." How does that sound?
Inside check.
Go for it.
Hikan is standing.
No, that seems fair.
Hikan is standing behind Renji, and he's just like has one hand, and he just puts his thumb over his forefinger, pop, and then over his middle finger, pop, until he has a fist, and just
Yes, I assure you, if this location in Sarkosa is what you tell me it is, then having something as dangerous as my previous stock was, well, it would be a major misstep if I were to allow people to have such dangerous things in a major metropolitan area. So I shall just limit myself to some of the more mundane animals, as it were. I mean, there might be exotic animals out there that are merely just outside of the region, not exotic in the sense that they can fly and spit fire. I'm meaning in the sense that they, like, might be from a different continent, like a lizard the size of a dog or something like that. Maybe, I'm not sure. I will take guidance from local library information. But before I depart, is there anything else that you would have of me?
If he mentions anything in regards to like since you mentioned exotic pets, Hikan will give the I think it was Zephyr's. There was the Fairwind Trading Company, the brass.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zephyr's favor. He will give the name of the guy at Zephyr's favor, because he should have gone back, probably, hopefully by now, and be setting up his trading company again, since we suggested that.
Okay.
Not those brass bell guys. Those guys are rude.
Oh, okay. I will take your word for it. In the meantime, thank you. He kind of like does a bow, and which kind of, because of his slender neck and everything, it kind of has one of those the very, it over exaggerates the bow, so it looks like one of those desktop drinking birds. And they stand straight. He smiles, and he, instead of doing what he usually would do, which is disappear in a puff of smoke as he wants to with his wizrobe step, he just turns to the door and walks out.
When he leaves, like, I turn to the others, and then I say, do you think it's clear to him that if he doesn't do as we say, we will hunt him down again?
Yeah.
I think he'll
Okay.
be fine.
Okay, good.
Like, I wouldn't have like what's the word? I wouldn't trust him with my life necessarily, but I trust him enough to keep his word in regards to this. Besides, have you had like a fish in your mouth for like a couple hours? It's gross.
What?
Yeah. You want to try it? Max has got fish. Okay.
No.
Because that's what we used for a gag.
Yeah,
That is true.
you put a fish in his mouth.
Yep.
Oh dear. But yes. So Flamgo departs. Flamgo has left the party. The rest of the evening, depending on what you do, goes on without incident. It is a rather restful night, though if anyone stays with other Max, he seems to be having the standard sleeping fits of someone who has the nightmares and has no other method of coping with them.
Yep.
If Max doesn't want to, because of possible dangers, Hikan will definitely offer to stay with other Max. Because Hikan has evasion.
I'm staying there.
I think Zidon will stay there because if other Max is having similar night terrors, he's there mostly because he has the spell Tidal Wave, and it's like, this might be required.
That's almost petty.
It's the only spell I have that makes water.
Oh dear. But yeah.
I only need 4 hours to sleep, so I'll wake up before him, and if he does cast a spell when he wakes up, I'll counterspell it.
Okay.
That works.
Yeah. But yes, you wake up the next morning. You have everything ready to go. Mara just kind of like, as Mara comes with you to the prison house, or the guard outpost where they're keeping other Max, and there is a small collection of guards who are on hand when the door
We'll probably
opens.
explain the situation to him as well.
Yeah. Other Max, he probably would have been unshackled long before this point. But he stands up and the guard in front of the pack just kind of says, "I'm sure that this has been explained to you before, young man, but just to be absolutely sure, as recompense for the incident yesterday, you are being ordered exiled from Zor's domain for the next 3 years. You are not to return upon punishment of jail time or possible death, depending on how things happen. But hopefully, it will not come to that." And other Max just kind of very slowly nods. And says, "Very well." And the guard turns to one of you and says, "We will accompany you until you leave the perimeter of Zor's domain. You are welcome back unless you have him with you, in which case we would ask you politely not to enter the city limits, if that is okay."
That seems reasonable.
Okay.
Rather than accompany them to the guardhouse, Hikan would have gone to the stables to gather all of their horses that they left for their trip to Snowhead.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much would that have cost? Because I don't think that we paid for it ahead of time.
Ooh, that's a good question.
We were up on Snowhead we were here for a night, up on Snowhead for 2 nights.
I thought we paid like a week in advance.
I thought that was for Drumnick.
You paid. I know you paid in advance for a few days for the Snoozing River, but I don't know if you paid for stabling.
It's fine if we didn't.
Yeah, so it's 5 silver pieces per day to stable.
Per
So-
horse.
A horse.
Or-
So,
Yeah.
and you had 4 horses.
Eight gold
Mara
pieces?
has one.
Yeah.
Okay, 10
Five.
gold pieces.
Does
Yeah.
Mara have one?
Yes, she does. I completely.
So
For some
5
reason,
horses.
I was only counting player characters. For some reason, I wasn't counting.
But you have to count, Mara.
I know I have to count Mara. I know I have to count Mara.
Okay. So yeah, I'll just. Okay, cool. So that is 10 gold pieces, you guys said?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yeah.
Cool.
4 days.
You get your horses back. They have been well kept. And yeah, they you lead them back towards the guardhouse where everyone is ready to saddle up. Who gets other Max?
I will give horse to other Max, and I will be leading horse. In case some other Max isn't comfortable with it, because I have long foot speed.
Yes. You probably run at the same pace as a horse by now. Probably faster. But yeah, you get ready to saddle up, and the guards follow you out to the guard gate, or like to the gate entrance to Zora's domain. You went to the south entrance, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm guessing you're on the western side of the river.
Mhm.
Okay. So say if you're on the eastern side of the river, you'd have to deal with the Firevine Forest again.
Again, yay.
Hey man, what's happening, man? But yeah. You yeah.
Did we get the fireball banished?
The fireball banished.
Oh, the use bro.
Yes, bro.
Not yet.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
We well, we couldn't get the angel banished, so
We were going to wait for him to do it. Hikan wouldn't have asked a holy person like multiple favors like that. He was probably going to wait until they got to Castletown.
So you still have a use bro.
Yep.
Yeah, you have an unignited use bro. Yeah.
An unstable pyromancer.
Yeah.
this is fine.
This is
fine.
fine.
This is not fine.
Just make sure that they're as far apart from each other as we can keep them.
I am carrying the use bro and I'm leading horse.
No!
Pyromancer's on.
No!
It's so nice down here, man.
As we travel, I glance over at other Max, and I say, "We actually didn't ask your name." I realize that we've kind of like roped you into this.
My name is Max. At least I thought it was.
Right.
That might get a bit confusing.
I think, this is simply because we know our Max a little bit longer than you. We might have to come up with a nickname for you. Seems a little bit on the nose to just call you Red.
Like, Mara just kind of sits in deep thinking. Like, I'm not good with names. What about any of you? Do you have any ideas?
What's a different form of Max? Because, like, I know there's all sorts of different things in regards to, like longer names or shorter names. Like, there's like Bills and Wills, I think. At least there were a couple of guards named Bill and Will, and then when I asked them about it, they said that their name was William, which doesn't make any sense to me at all. How do you get Bill from William?
There's the other forms of the name Max are things like Maxwell, Maximilian, Maximus. It's
I would vote for Maximus.
Which one do you like, Red Max?
I'm not sure. I've never really had to pick a new name for myself before.
You can stick with Maxwell because that's the first one that Mara suggested. At least for now. If that's okay.
He kind of nods slowly and then looks to the rest of you for confirmation.
Very well then, Maxwell.
Okay.
Oh.
He kind of heaves a sigh, like,
What is this shit?
Since they're traveling, today the snack is pieces of fruit. So like a little fruit bag kind of thing for people if they need it. Additionally, Hikan, because he sat there and thought about the Chalice of Din, would like to look inside to see if there's liquid in it.
Sure. You kind of you peer inside. You don't need a perception check, because it's still fairly decent daylight. You have a little look inside, and you don't see liquid, but you do see stains on the inside. It smells kind of sweet, but in that sort of there's just an unpleasant kind of tinge to it, where it's like clearly whatever was inside has gone stale.
Max, Renji,
Hmm?
could one of you clean this out, please? I don't like the way it feels.
I hold out my hand.
I lend him the chalice of din.
And as usual, I will spit in it and use my No. I will use prestidigitation to get rid of everything that is unclean.
Okay. You clean the vessel, and it yeah, it doesn't have that stench anymore. Certainly ready for use again, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at the chalice, then at Hikan. You know what this thing does, right?
If you have a water skin, you can just pour that in there.
Yeah, since we're walking along the river, I was thinking of getting some water from there, or putting something different in there for the time being.
I hand it back. Just be careful. We know what it does. We don't really know the side effects of it.
Well, hopefully I won't have to use it, but if I do, I'd rather be ready than, not be ready and then need it,
Hmm.
Okay. As you you get yourself a vase full of water, and it is now full and ready for consumption at the earliest possibility. You continue your way down the river, and over the process of, let's say, a day, you make some good time considering you're on horseback. Well, most of you. I'd say you get to around about there, before it starts to get very dark, and the option comes to whether or not you want to camp out, or if you want to keep on going.
We can camp.
Camp is probably a good idea.
About
Okay.
halfway there.
Give me a group survival check then.
I'm wondering. We won't go to Kakariko. No. There's 3 Hylians with us now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hikan would not go to Kakariko at all.
Yeah.
Would you, if you wanted to, you could make a brief stop inside, if there's anything you wanted to do in there. Like, you'd lose a little bit of time, I guess. You'd probably end up about here instead, but otherwise...
I think even though Renji would like to see his mom, he's not going to stop by without a reason.
Okay. So you get to about here before you need to set up camp.
I'll just take 1 extra point in sad.
10 survival.
Yeah.
It's a good start.
16.
Hooray.
6!
Well, it's a group survival check and half of you passed, so that's good.
Yay!
Yeah. But yeah, you situate yourselves in a nice little collection of trees, where it is out of the way of the road. You just put yourselves next to the trees and tie up the horses. Maxwell just kind of watches you guys go to work. All he's really ever done is just find a tree to sit under or a cave to sit in. That's the extent of his own survival at this point. But he just watches as you guys set up camp, and will pick an appropriate spot to just lay down in, and maybe get some sleep. What are the watches gonna be like?
2 questions before that. Does he seem interested? Because if he seems interested in learning, Hikan will kind of explain what he's doing. And then the second question is there any chance that we can find some form of like game or anything like that, like small game or something?
With your 16 survival, yes, there is game that can be found here. It's mainly rabbits, but otherwise it is there is plenty of things that you can trap or hunt in order to gain appropriate supplies. As for whether he's interested or not, roll insight for me.
Excellent. Whoop. 17.
Nice. Yeah, he seems kind of interested to learn about this. Like, this is a whole new experience for him. Yeah.
It gets kind of chilly at night still, right?
Yeah.
So Hikan will put wood stuff, or Hikan and Zaid will put wood stuff in a pile. And Hikan will actually ask, if you feel comfortable and you want to get some practice in, do you have like a little fire thing that you can do to help us start it?
Sure.
Max gives him a look like, you got this.
He kind of points a finger at the pile of wood, and he'll just cast a simple firebolt at the pile of wood. Boom. But he gets a nat 1. So it doesn't go like hideously wrong. It just kind of misses its mark and hits the dirt nearby. It's like,
It's okay. Try again.
He points again, and 11's good. He just.
Could he get advantage if I help him?
Yes.
Just like, hold his arm a bit to aim properly.
Well, it is a stationary target, so it doesn't get advantage anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. He. You help him, and he gets that nat 20. The small bolt of flame impacts the pile of wood and sets it alight. He's like, okay. This is right.
Okay. You guys stay here for a little bit. I'm gonna go get some rabbits, and then I will do some hunting.
Okay.
Even though we have fish, this is more for Maxwell's thing.
Okay. Yeah. And he'll keep, like, if he can still see you, he'll keep an eye on you as you do that.
Yeah, and then I will make everyone food for the night.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then for watches.
Yeah, you sit down and make everyone some snacks and foods and stuff. Then we get 2 watches. What are everybody's watches going to be like?
I'm probably going to stay up for at least a bit.
Well, first watch then?
Sure.
You want someone specific to accompany you for reasons?
Not particularly, but if
You have
someone...
You have at least 8 hours because Maxwell doesn't have a ring of expedient rests.
So if we do 2 people on first watch and then 2 people on second watch, then we don't need to break up our chances all oddly.
Okay. Alright, so
I'll also go first.
Okay.
Sidon and Hikan can go second.
Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna need perception checks from those on the first watch.
Well then.
7.
12.
And 12. I rolled a 4.
Okay. You situate yourselves down.
Max is sitting a bit further away from everyone else than he normally would.
Okay.
He's just sort of goes back against the tree and seems to be focusing on a spot in front of him on the ground. But also not at the same time.
Okay.
He's basically trying to focus on his magic and feel it, as opposed to just using it like he normally would.
Yeah. Give me a charisma check.
Charisma. Fuck.
It's been an interesting couple of days, and you feel that that's probably playing against your magical capabilities at the moment. There's just
Can't focus.
yeah, it's hard. It is hard to focus today.
It's like trying to catch a storm in your hands. After like about an hour of this, Smasher just growls a bit and shakes his head.
I glance over. You okay?
Kind of. I'm trying to just figure out exactly what it is I have.
That is very fair.
What is... I know your magic is different, but what does it feel like? Like when you use it.
When I use it, mostly it's previously make me feel powerful. Like, kind of the reason I bargained for it was because I wanted to be powerful enough to change the trajectory of my life, you know.
I remember.
And nowadays,
But that's what it makes you feel like, but what does it feel like? Is what I'm asking.
right. DM. Suggestions?
Well, I would say at first it just feels very uncomfortable and tingly. Like there's a pervasive feeling of pins and needles that goes with it. As if something is being stolen, even though, like, you feel like everything is there.
It's like
There's
I feel
like a paradoxical feeling of something being taken when it's being given.
Yeah, that's it. That's a really good way of explaining it. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like it makes me feel, it's not exactly colder, and I don't really feel any change in temperature, but it's siphoning off something. And I think I've become too used to that feeling to really notice it right now.
See.
I mean, it's every time I pull out my weapon or stow it wherever it goes. It's that twinge. Don't know if that makes any sense.
Well, I don't know what your magic feels like, so I can't really tell you you're wrong.
Is there a way for me to kind of like have this experience this sensation?
What do you mean?
Like to share such sensation.
Are you sure you want to do that? Considering what might pay attention at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Do it.
I'm going to I look over at Max and then I kind of reach out, but then stop myself and could you hold your hands out, like palms up?
Tell me what you're doing first.
I want to cast
Bear in mind what I've been through.
I want to cast a spell on myself.
Right.
You've seen me do this before, kind of like become shimmery.
Okay. No. Maxwell quite awkwardly just put his hands up in the way that Renji asked.
I cast Blink on myself.
Huh.
And that'll allow me to roll a die
Yeah.
for every 6 seconds for a minute. And I'm going to do that now for the first one. So I roll an 11 or higher. I suddenly vanish from the prime material plane.
Yeah.
And I appear in the ethereal plane.
Hmm.
And as Max is holding out his hands, I kind of put my hands on his, kind of push down.
You might notice anything.
You do notice this unpleasant tingling sensation kind of spread throughout your whole hand. Like just this almost pulsing sort of buzzing feeling that goes through all of your fingers and the palm of your hand.
And I pull away as I reappear. Oh, I didn't really think of this.
Can I put my hands
and I
down?
disappear again.
Okay. I'm gonna put my hands down.
And I reappear. It's like, yeah, you can put your hands down again.
Okay.
I seem to still be here. So yeah. What do you feel?
Something like what you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's weirdly pulsy.
Yeah, it's a very unnatural feeling. At least to me.
Such up the dice.
I'm trying to stay in the prime material plane.
Can't you just? Is it a spell you can
It's
just?
duration
cancel?
1 minute, no concentration.
Okay. Okay.
It just is now.
Yeah.
It just is.
Well, it's a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what you're
Doing
trying to do. You're going back and forth now.
No, I'm not.
More.
Five.
So that's
Get all these low rolls out the way now.
7, 8. 2 more.
one more.
1 more. There we go.
I vanished.
Oh, okay. So folds his arms and waits.
And then I reappear back in my original position where I was 10 feet from you.
And after like a couple of seconds, I says, "Are you done now?"
I think so.
Okay.
Generally didn't last longer than this previously, so.
Right.
Did I notice anything in the ethereal plane?
Not anything beyond the usual.
Just the countless people staring at us from wherever they are watching or listening to our Twitch stream or podcast.
Did he feel what I'm about to describe when he put his hands in mine?
Yes.
Okay. That's like mine kind of feels like constant swirling storm just under my skin. And every time I think something wrong or the anger kicks up or there's flashes and explosions going through it, and I have to try my best to keep them in or they'll just snap out.
I did feel something like that.
It never stops. There's never calm. That I've been thinking lately about, except the book he's currently reading about weather, because he's probably got one of those.
Hmm.
Talks about thing we named our group after, the Eye of the Storm.
Yes?
I think I need to find that somehow. Because that's the one calmer bit.
Yeah.
Just have to figure out where or what it is. I guess, if I'm even getting this right.
There is one thing.
What?
Well, with the Eye of the Storm, it is quiet, yes. But it also is closest to where the storm is most intense.
Right.
Will, and he stops for a moment, then nods. We'll be here for you. We haven't traveled for very long together, but I think I've come to know you for a bit, and, well, Sidon and Hikan, Mara. We will help you. I just, personally, wouldn't really know where to start. So, if you...
Well, if it helps, neither do I.
Oh, at least we got that in common. The storm I felt when we did that.
Magic handshake.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Out of character. Magic handshake.
Touch hands. It reminded me of something,
What?
and he looks away for a moment. It actually reminded me of how I felt when my father was when he saw me using magic, and when the Grandmaster saw me. It's an anger that, I don't know. I felt feeling of shame. I'm not sure if that is me or...
It's interesting. Right. Guess there is part of me that hates what he did to me.
You do have good reason for that.
Yeah. That's just, at that point, just goes back to thinking.
The rest of your watch goes on without incident.
Except for the fact that Miniblins have raided our camp.
I know.
And we just didn't see.
We were so busy with our conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh
That's the end
well.
of the campaign.
Yeah. Yes. So. But yeah, you go through the rest of your watch without incident, and then undoubtedly wake up Hikan and Zayden.
Mm-hmm.
And as you swap shifts, I'd like Group 2 to give me a perception check.
Also, if you two were trancing, you probably heard some of what was said.
I think we hear everything.
Yeah.
Depends on how much attention you're paying.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys start talking about magic, Hikan pays a lot of attention. He's interested.
Yeah.
I get a 19.
I got a 9.
Okay. Zayden, you appear to be the only one who notices this. Just out of the corner of your eye, among some of the bushes, you see what appears to be an odd thing. It looks to be something of a bonsai tree.
Is it a wiggly bonsai tree?
Is it a boy? I'm sorry, I'm not awake.
Is it the butler's son?
Is it cashew?
How early into the watch do I notice this?
About an hour into the watch.
I will nudge Hikan to point out the bonsai tree.
Is it cashew? Because I've seen cashew in character.
You believe this to be Cashew's bonsai tree, yes.
Oh, that looks like cashew. He's one of them little wood folk with the noses that spit stuff out. And he sells things.
I can't
It's
remember
where I
if
got the
saw
jerky
him or
from.
not.
You were in Kakariko, I think.
Yeah, it's me and Hikan who saw him.
I'd definitely be aware of Deku scrubs, but
Yeah.
So I will slowly nod and keep an eye on them.
Oh, he's really nice. He stayed near us when we were staying outside Kakariko with when I was with Tyrina and Max. He didn't bother us at all. He's got some pretty cool things if you want to take a look.
Is he not sleeping as well? Does he look like he's sleeping as well? Is there a slow rhythmic rise and fall of his bush?
It's hard to tell. Because, like, that's the benefit of Deku scrubs, right? Is when they're burrowed in the ground that you can just mistake them for the average plant, depending on where they've positioned themselves. Like, he stands out not simply because he's moving, but because he is a bonsai tree in the wild in a temperate area.
I'll go ask, and then I will tiptoe over in case. And Hikan does that. Hey, are you asleep? Thing.
No.
Oh, he's awake.
He just kind of pops out of the ground and is like,
Hi.
Hi, nice to see you again.
Ah. Oh. Never had return customers before. Hi.
And then I'll wave Sidon over.
Sidon will come over.
Oh. Hello.
Hello.
You want to buy stuff?
What do you have?
Ooh, let me find out.
he just dunks back under the ground, comes back up, and just puts a leather bag down, and then puts down what appears to be a little wooden box, and then he also puts down what else does he put down here? He puts down what appears to be a bottle with a liquid inside of it. And that liquid is...
Always buy the bottle.
The bottle.
That's the most important part.
It's 100 rupees though,
Uh,
and I only have the child's wallet.
Darn it.
Yeah. It appears to have a blue liquid in it. Like a deep ink blue liquid in it.
So he has a bottle of blue liquid.
Mm-hmm. A wooden
Would you
box and a leather bag.
Would you like some blue?
Can I determine what any of them are?
Yeah.
Or does he come with explanations?
He comes with explanations. So he says,
Okay, so we have a small bag of the dango jerky,
and like slides that forward.
that is 10 gold pieces. Then we have this.
He pushes it forward and opens it up, and it appears to be a small wooden chess set.
He says, I have this little chest set here. It's 5 gold pieces.
And then he pushes the little bottle with blue in it, and he says,
This is a blue potion. That'll be 250 gold pieces, please.
What does the blue potion do?
make an Arcana check.
I shall guidance myself for a grand total of very little. 7.
7. You're not sure. Mara might know, but you'll have to wake her up.
So
Mara has a way of expedient rest.
She does. But she might have, like, slept later. Like, gone in for a couple, like, slept after the rest of you, and this seems to be just still lying down. Though you can see if she's awake or is just kind of, like, snoozing.
Nah, I won't disturb her.
You
Okay.
say that was 5 gold pieces for the chess set?
Mm-hmm.
Poseidon will buy chess.
Okay, you have purchased chess.
Excellent.
He'll close the box up for you, push it even further forward, and gladly take your money, which he puts underground.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll get the blue potion.
Okay.
So Hikan pulls out 150 gold pieces,
Mhm.
and then the 10 really super shiny coins that he was told was worth a lot for 10 platinum.
Okay. Gladly kind of take it, like, he kind of like scrapes it towards himself and pushes it underground.
Thank you. Here's your potion.
Do you know what blue potions do? I don't. I'm not exactly knowledgeable
not-
about magic stuff.
I'm not sure. This guy came up to me and sold it to me for about the same price. So I said, sure, why not? Something expensive must be really cool. But he didn't explain what it did.
Okay. Thank you.
No
I hope-
worries. Nice
I
to
hope
see you
business
again.
continues to go well. And Hikan
Yeah.
smiles. Bows.
I'm sure it will. Thank you. Take care.
And then, boom, he just slimps back into the ground. He takes the bag of jerky with him since he didn't buy that.
This time.
This time.
Okay. So, yeah. After that, Hikan wants to turn to Zayden and kind of talk about the conversation that that Renji and Max had. If Max was trying to get to a calm center, do you think, like, I know sometimes you do it when you're, I don't know, at the beginning of the day for it, and sometimes I do it when we're waiting before we get moving again. But do you think that like meditation or something would help, or just exercises for what Max was looking for?
Meditation is helpful. Yeah.
Okay. And then Hikan thinks about it for a minute, gets a determined look on his face, and then gives a sharp nod. Hikan is filled with determination.
Now he's motivated.
Yeah. Gonna do this. But yeah. Awesome. Is there anything else you two wanted to do for tonight?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, I didn't.
Zaiden's not going to play chess when he's on guard duty.
But yeah. You guys get through the rest of your watch unimpeded, and we'll pick this up next time because it is getting a bit late. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, or listening. I have been Articulate the Game Master. This has been Hyrule Chronicles episode 60. And with me today, as always, I have had Renji Vox being played by the Nether Lad.
9 more episodes!
Yeah, oh god.
At least someone's excited.
Uh-huh.
I just want to go nice. Is that so much to ask?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Oh dear. I've had Hikan Sio being played by Alvarance.
But what does the blue potion do?
It
Gives
does
you
blue.
the power of blue.
I've had Zaiden Shari being played by Robopart.
Goodbye, people.
And I have had Max being played by Keistrith.
Hey.
And we'll see you guys next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.